is important. But we're looking for people that have that magic spark, that fire of liberty in their heart, because I want you to join our team. I want to give you a launch pad so you can really take off and engage the globalist. And if this works, we'll have contests all the time, and we'll continue to build this operation. I'm involved in a talent search, looking for people who have the fires of liberty burning in their hearts and their minds. You've got until April 30th to complete your news report, and then we'll announce the winners 1 week later. Are you going to join the InfoWar? Do you have what it takes? It's up to you. All serious entries will be posted on InfoWars.com. So everybody wins. You're getting the message of liberty out, and that's what really matters. But in the final equation, it's not about showing Alex Jones what you got. It's about showing the world and the globalist that no army can stop an idea whose time has come. Join me in the InfoWar. So you say you want to fight the InfoWar. You say you want to go head up against the New World Order. You can do a better job than Alex Jones? I know you can. And here's your chance to prove your mettle.
I think the 10th anniversary is the appropriate occasion to sum up all the research that's been done over 10 years, which suggests that the story we've been given about 9/11 is not true.
We wanted an investigation into all of the actions and failures that had led to the deaths of our loved ones and so many others on that horrible September day. A real investigation into 9/11 has never been done.
Why didn't the commission deal with the collapse of Building 7, which some call the smoking gun?
At 5:20 in the afternoon on 9/11, it fell vertically and symmetrically in 6.5 seconds.
NIST acknowledges WT7 came down without resistance and without doing any work for over 100 feet. They even gave the equation of the line. It shows that the slope is exactly equal to the acceleration of gravity. The fact of free fall is literally proof of demolition.
Boom, 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 boom. Just like 20 straight hits.
We just heard one more explosion. That's about the fourth one we've heard.
High-rise office buildings do not collapse due to fires. All 3 skyscrapers were destroyed by explosive-controlled demolition. But take a close look now at the corner, where you see developing a series of explosions rapidly advancing down the corner of the building much faster than the rest of these explosions, almost as fast as the free-falling objects.
We have found what we call nanothermite.
The thermite reaction was present and occurring at the World Trade Center on 9/11 and afterward in the pile at the World Trade Center site.
Thermite must have been there one way or the other.
The FBI's official 9/11 investigation codename is Pentbomb. It's the official story, of course, in the 9/11 Commission report, and all the media that follows their lead is that bombs really weren't involved at the World Trade Centers or the Pentagon.
Americans know you can keep secrets. We kept the Manhattan Project secret. That had 100,000 people working on it. Conspiracies happen. We know that. Iran-Contra, Watergate. Conspiracy is a sound legal concept. We use it all the time.
9/11 has unleashed a roadmap of war and destruction.
A war machine that has been building incrementally since Eisenhower warned us about it in 1961.
Anybody who looks at it will realize that we're not walking in there with tinfoil hats. We are just normal people. We are ordinary citizens who are concerned and trying to do something about it.
This isn't over. This is just beginning. This is just beginning.
And welcome back to this Tuesday, 17th of April, 2012 edition of INFOWARS Nightly News. Now, we just talked about the unprecedented classical despotism integrated with a high-tech overlay in the news and analysis section of this transmission this evening. The unbelievable federalization, the checkpoints being set up across the country, but similarly with continuity of agenda in every other nation controlled by the banksters. We discussed the secret Stasi TSA spies on the buses engaged in pre-crime analysis. But what is all this predicated on? What is it all built on? It's built on the fraud that is 9/11. Anyone who actually investigates the official narrative of 9/11 quickly discovers that the official story is a manifest fairy tale that makes modern fairy tales like Star Wars and ancient fairy tales like Aesop's fables pale in significance. And, of course, I was talking about 9/11 before it took place, and then after it took place, day one, I've been exposing it from the beginning, understanding that it was a foundational event because I'd read the PNAC documents by Dick Cheney, and also, of course, I'd read the Rand Corporation a few years before saying the system was going to use terror, wink, wink. They barely denied that they weren't, wouldn't be the ones doing it, to bring in this transformation away from free societies to the national security state. I mean, if the globalists will kill 1 million Iraqis for some oil and weapons sales and to secure a larger, global system over there for Israel and others, they would certainly enslave Americans, Canadians, Europeans, Chinese, it doesn't matter. This is a scientific system of permanently breaking the human will, and it's what we talk about. And this is the Reichstag fire, 9/11. Now, there's a new 6-hour production out, the Toronto hearings on 9/11, uncovering 10 years of deception. And it has the latest information, the integrated, vetted information, amazing people involved in it. Yes, we're selling it at INFOWARS.com. If you get it there, you support our operation, but also Dan Dix and the group that he's put together over the years, Press for Truth, and the other great films they've put out. You call this a presentation/film. Very well done in the production, but it's the material that's so important. This is key to expose, because if the myth of 9/11 and this new religion of government worshiping and fear worshiping and police state worshiping is not deconstructed, which is beginning to happen, then they will be able to launch this global imperium. This is the cross on which they're crucifying free societies everywhere, is the 9/11 fable. As Webster Tarpley said many years ago in 2006 when we had our big C-SPAN event that they actually aired, C-SPAN said was one of the record shows ever in their history. Up until that time, they aired it taped. He said at that event, we must take the lie of 9/11, the fraud, and break it, because it's one of the main mechanisms. So joining us is Dan Dix, uncovering 10 years of deception, the Toronto hearings on 9/11, with the International Center for 9/11 Studies and Press for Truth present it. And we, again, really appreciate him coming on the show. Before I get to that, I want to read the quote of the day by Sun Tzu. Confront them with annihilation, and they will then survive. Plunge them into a deadly situation, and they will then live. When people fall into danger, they are then able to strive for victory. Unless you're taught not to defend yourself and taught that only the government can protect you from criminals or terrorists, and then the government says you're not allowed to protect yourself. That's what happened with 9/11. And so the revolution against this fraud is a revolution against tyranny, the spirit of tyranny itself. Dan joining us from Canada. Great to have you here with us today. Tell us about this film. We just saw the trailer coming in, but tell us why you put together this tour de force.
Well, we were basically contacted by the International Center for 9/11 Studies. They had put together and organized the international hearings, which was a 4-day event, which was held last year back in September, from September 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And they brought us on to basically be the production crew to document the entire event. So we did just that. We put together a solid little crew and set up about 6 different cameras and documented the entire 4 days worth of presentations. And these, of course, are presentations by expert witnesses. We're talking about scientists and architects and engineers and people who have been studying this, the events that transpired on that day for over 10 years now. And they all had very concise presentations. And we were brought on with the huge task, as you can imagine, to document the 4-day event and compile it all into a comprehensive DVD. And we managed to do that, keeping it in at around 6 hours. So it is kind of like a film, like a 6-hour-long film, but it's more of an information DVD package of all the latest news and information on what took place that day. So this disc is absolutely crucial for anybody who wants to learn more about what actually took place that day and what didn't take place that day.
Dan, adding a caveat here, those of us that have been aware of this hoax for many, many years think that, well, everybody else must know, or the debate's been finished. Those that won't look at the information, you know, those poor souls, those timid souls, let them crouch down and lick the hand that feeds them, the fetid hand of the eugenicist. But now we've seen the government shipping guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment and caught. We've seen the Justice Department now caught running the Trayvon Martin protest. That's now come out. And NBC editing the tape to make Martin sound like a racist to create a divide and conquer race war. We've seen fake WMD reports, and we know now it was premeditated. Bush and Blair met twice and said, fix the intelligence, and they basically killed Dr. David Kelly, the head inspector, because he wouldn't go along with it. He said, this is a lie, and they said, die. But so now people are really ready to see the truth more than ever, and so much more has come out. What do you say in context with other false flags? Oklahoma City, now police officers, the ones they didn't kill, like Terrence Yakey, have come out on my show and others and said, yeah, the FBI came to the police station and said, if you talk about what you saw, we're going to kill you and your wife. I mean, they're on my show saying it. You can tell, you know, one of them, a sergeant, and others, they're scared, but they've got the courage to do it because they understand. So many of these guys I talk to now that are whistleblowing say, look, I realize I could get killed, so I didn't talk about it all these years, but now I have to because this is such a tyranny, it doesn't matter. It's destroying the whole country, our children, our grandchildren. There comes a time when